All right, today we are diving into a really transformative book. It's called Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. And what's so powerful about it is that it's all built around this one really fundamental, super personal question that, let's be honest, pretty much all of us have asked ourselves at some point. And that question is, am I normal? You know, when it comes to desire or arousal or orgasm, that question is always kind of lurking there, right? Simmering just below the surface. But here's the thing. According to Nagoski, the answer to that question is almost always a huge, resounding yes. So if that's the case, why do so many of us feel so abnormal? Well, the frustrating reality is that we've all been lied to. Now, it's not some big, deliberate conspiracy, but more like a story we've inherited. A story about sexuality that's built on totally outdated science. So let's kick things off right there. We're going to unpack that wrong story and see exactly how this old science created the myths that cause so much of our self-doubt. Okay, so the biggest flaw in this old story, it's actually pretty simple. For a long time, science basically treated women's sexuality as men's sexuality light. You know, the male experience was seen as the default, the gold standard, and everyone else was just measured against that. And this whole men's sexuality light model, well, it ended up creating a bunch of really powerful and honestly damaging myths. Like, we were all taught that all women should be able to orgasm from intercourse, no problem. Or that your body's physical response should always perfectly match how turned on you feel in your head. And, oh yeah, that real desire, it's always spontaneous, right? It just hits you out of nowhere. Okay, let's just tackle that first myth head on. The science is crystal clear on this. Only about 30% of women reliably have orgasms from intercourse alone. So think about what that means. The other 70%, you are not broken. You are completely 100% normal. So, okay, if that old story is totally wrong, then what's the right one? Well, it all kicks off with one simple, kind of beautiful biological truth that connects every single one of us. And here it is. This is really the foundation of the entire book. We are all made of the exact same parts, the same fundamental hardware. The incredible diversity we see in human sexuality, it's not because some of us are normal and others are not. No way. It's because that shared hardware is organized in a way that is completely and totally unique to you and to me and to everyone. And listen, this isn't just some nice feel-good idea. It is a straight-up biological fact. It all comes down to a concept called homology. It sounds a little sciencey, but all it really means is that different body parts that look totally different on the outside, they actually grew from the exact same original tissues when we were in the womb. Just take a look at this. On the left, you've got the clitoris, and on the right, the penis. They are homologous structures. They both developed from the exact same universal genital hardware. So one isn't just a smaller or different version of the other. Nope. They are two different, equally valid outcomes from the exact same starting point. It's that simple rule again. Same parts, just organized in a unique way. All right, so now let's shift gears from anatomy and talk about the single most important sex organ that we all have. And that is, of course, the brain. Because it turns out those old models of sexual response, yeah, they were missing a massive piece of the puzzle. You know those classic models, like for Masters and Johnson? They described what happens physically, excitement, plateau, orgasm, the whole shebang. And they were great. They were awesome at describing the what, but they couldn't really explain the why. Or, just as importantly, the why not. So what was the missing piece? Well, the answer came from the Kinsey Institute with something truly groundbreaking called the dual control model. And what this model shows us is that our sexual response is not just some simple on switch, not at all. It's actually a dynamic dance between two totally separate, independent systems that are going on inside our brains. So first up, you have the accelerator. The technical name is the sexual excitation system, or SES. Think of it like the gas pedal in your brain. It's the part of you that's constantly scanning the environment for anything sexually relevant. Sights, sounds, smells, fantasies, all the reasons to get turned on and say, yes, let's do this. And then, here's the absolute game changer. The second system is the brakes, the sexual inhibition system, or SIS. This is the piece that was missing from all those old stories. And just like the gas pedal, your brain's brake pedal is also constantly scanning for reasons to get turned off. It's looking for all the reasons to say no. Things like stress, being tired, self-consciousness, hearing the kids make noise in the other room, basically anything that signals, hey, now is not a good time for this. Okay, so we have a gas pedal and a brake pedal in our brains. What does this new science actually mean for you? Well, this is where it all clicks into place. This is what shows us why you are, in fact, completely and totally normal. Here's the most crucial point of all. We all have a gas pedal and we all have brakes. But, and this is the key, the sensitivity of each one is unique to you. It's like a factory setting. Some people are just born with a really sensitive accelerator. Others have a super sensitive brake pedal. And most of us, we're somewhere in between. And that unique wiring, that's what makes up your sexual personality. So, for example, someone with a highly sensitive accelerator, they might respond really quickly to sexual cues. They get that feeling of desire super easily. But on the flip side, someone with highly sensitive brakes might find that their arousal gets shut down pretty easily by things like stress, or worrying about how they look, or even just a messy room. And the thing is, neither one is better or worse. They're just different. Both are equally normal ways of being wired. And all of this leads to what I think is the most powerful, most affirming message in the whole book. Once you understand your own personal system of gas and brakes, you finally realize the problem isn't you. You are normal. The problem is that we live in a world that has only ever talked about the gas pedal and then made you feel broken for even having brakes. So the goal here isn't to try and rewire your brain or become someone you're not. No. The real power, it comes from understanding and mastering your own controls. It's about learning what specifically hits your gas pedal. And just as important, learning what hits your brakes. Because once you know that, you can start creating the context that works for your unique system. It's not about a quest to become normal. It's about finally, truly realizing you already are.